Now that we are done with our sound and we are going to use it in our project, and we might want to use it in a different project. How do we save it? The saving function in Kontakt is once again not the best because there is no save. There's only save as, and that sometimes get a little bit confusing, but save as is what you want to select in this case. And it will bring up this window, and now we have a few options that we can choose from. So we can save only the patch, and what that's gonna save is simply the instrument with all the modulation, distortion, and all those information that we applied within the instrument, but is not gonna save the sample. So if by any chance you're gonna move the sample and you from its original location and you're gonna open Kontakt, the sample will be missing and it'll try and look for it. Hopefully you know where it is and you'll be able to find it without a problem. Alternatively, you have this option which is saving patch and samples, and what's that gonna do is it's gonna save the instrument and it's also gonna duplicate the sample that you used, and it's gonna put it into a certain folder system. That way it doesn't matter if you're gonna move the original sample as far as you keep the Kontakt instrument and the sample that the Kontakt saved for you in the same folder that Kontakt saved it to, you're always going to be okay. But even in that case, that can be some kind of a pain in the butt. What's not a pain in the butt is the monolith option, and what that does is that it will basically create a file that includes both the instrument and the sample. So there's no way you will lose the sample because it will be within the same file that Kontakt will save. What are the benefits of having this type of file as opposed to patch plus samples or patch only? Well, sometimes, like for example, in my case that I'm doing this get low instrument, different instruments will use the same set of samples, and if I would save them with monolith, I would end up with a library that is 20-30 gigabytes but of files that might be duplicates. So the way it should be done if you're using the same samples for different instruments is you should be able to save the samples in a certain folder, and then the instruments will go look for that folder, grab the samples that it needs, and use them for the instrument. That way you save a lot of space, and the good thing is that you can optimize your space. You can actually use more samples because obviously if you're using just a simple Moog saw, for example, you can use the same Moog saw in 100 different presets, but you are only using that single sample for 100 different preset, and you can use different sample from other places in those other 100 presets. And so basically you can have more by using less space, and that's really good, and that's why you would want to save the samples like that. If you're 100% sure that you're only gonna use that single instrument and you're only gonna use that particular sample, like for example in this case, and I mean it's just a single tiny sample that is probably not even a megabyte, monolith would definitely be the best option. So it's up to you. It depends how messy you are with your file. I suck, but with Kontakt stuff I'm actually quite good. So let's just go ahead and save our monolith file, and let's call it just let's call it Kashmir Vocal, and now our file is saved, and whenever we want we can just grab it, load it into Kontakt. The whole settings with distortion, filter, and modulation is going to be saved, and this is basically just like opening a preset in any other synthesizer. Now, another very cool thing in Kontakt, which is probably the most unused and underrated function, especially when it comes to presets, and creating libraries is the quick load. Most of the people think that the best way to load samples is by using this menu over here. Now this menu over here is not available to everyone. Yes, if you have a cracked software and if you want to mess with Kontakt files, you can add your own library here. Kontakt will see it. You can put whatever image you want. Like I said, this is a legit copy of Kontakt, so I can't do that, nor I really care about doing so. Just so you know, getLow will be an official library, so it will have a space over here, just because it is, just because I understand a lot of people like to have stuff over here. Also, the good thing about it is that will work in Kontakt Player, so if you don't want to buy the full version of Kontakt, but you still want to use getLow, you just get Kontakt Player, which is free. You can use getLow without limitation, so that's pretty good. getLow is going to have an official library, so don't worry about it. However, this quick load thing is actually way better than this library thingy, and it's actually what I use most of the time. Even with these libraries, everything is actually mapped in the quick load. So what is quick load? Quick load is nothing but just a little browser which is organized by folders within Kontakt. And the way you access quick load is by either click over here and select quick load, or just go anywhere within this black window and hit right click, and that will bring the quick load. So as you can see here, there is Retro Machine, which is this library. There's output stuff. There's Kashmir stuff, which is stuff that I was working on with Kashmir. So I put everything within that same folder so that I knew what instrument we were using, Kontakt Factory Library, and all that kind of stuff. So basically, what is quick load? Quick load is, like I said, a little browser that you can set up the way you want, and you can put everything you want within it. For example, let's say I want to have a folder that includes all of my piano instruments. So I'm going to call it pianos. And I know that Alicia Keys is a piano instrument. So I'm going to take it, hold Alt so that I can duplicate it, and just drag it in here. So you'll see here now I have piano that has Alicia Keys, but I also have Alicia Keys that has Alicia Keys. What I can do is just simply go into the database and type piano, and that will basically find all of my piano instrument or whatever is tagged as piano, and that is bringing all the piano instruments that I have. And what I can do is simply select them all. So I'm just gonna grab them and put them into my piano folder, and there you go. So I have all of my pianos right here in my piano folder. The same thing I can do with guitars, for example, or with basses, or with strings, whatever. So the difference between quick load and the library tab is that the library tab is really good for categories, but only within its own libraries. While in quick load, I can have all the instruments from all the libraries within a certain folder. So if I want a folder that, like in this case, has all the pianos that I have in my Kontakt database, doesn't matter which library they are from, I can simply just get them, drag them in the folder, in the piano folder, and I will basically have all my pianos in here. The other really cool thing, I'm just gonna delete this for a second, is that once I select my piano, now obviously I did like a very fast search, so whatever had the piano tag in it, I just put it in the piano folder. But anyway, what's really cool about this is that I can remove my quick load. I can hit this icon over here that will basically shrink my whole interface into just the instrument, so it's not going to take too much space within my project. But if I still want to change my instrument, you'll see over here, now I have my piano folder, and I can access all of my instruments from this menu over here. So it will basically look at the folder where this preset has been opened from, and it will basically attach all the instruments that are within the same folder. And this is insane. It's super quick. And as you can see, we have additive piano, and then after that we have August Foster Grand. And if you see over here, there you go, August Foster Grand. Or, you know, alternatively, you can keep the quick load open. I actually kind of like it like this. That's how I usually use Kontakt. But once again, this is super cool and super quick when you have a lot of Kontakt instruments. And I'm sure you guys have a lot of Kontakt instrument, because just the factory library alone has, I don't even know how many, and they're all over the place. It takes a few hours to set up if you want to do it properly. If you want to look at the right tags, for example, you saw that one of the previous instrument was a synth instrument and it wasn't a real piano. But once you set it up, trust me, it's gonna save you so much time, because you'll be like, okay, I need a piano, and you're just gonna load it from whenever. Also, you can create your favorite instrument that are not necessarily always the same thing, but if you use the same string and the same guitar and the same piano over and over and over, you can create a folder that is just favorite instrument, and you can put whatever favorite instrument you have in there. I think, I'm not 100% sure, but let me try it. I think you can have folders within a folder. Let's try, let's call it test. Yes, you can have a folder within a folder. So for example, you could call this favorites, and then this could be your pianos, and then you could have strings. And so it would basically create your own catalog, your own little library within Kontakt. And trust me, it's insanely fast, and it works great. My friend Kashmir is a sucker for Kontakt. He loves Kontakt. He uses it all the time. When I showed him this function, he was blown away. And I think right now he's only using quick load to load his stuff. He's very picky with his Kontakt. So I think that he spent a couple days putting everything into the right place. But like I said, takes a little bit, but it's totally worth it if you love Kontakt and if you use Kontakt a lot. Okay, so this video is taking way longer than expected, but it's normal with me. You know, I talk a lot, but I'm gonna stop right here. I'm really looking forward to hear from you if you liked this video and if I should do more Kontakt video. Like I said, Kontakt has a lot of perks, but it's probably not the most intuitive plugin out there. So if you use Kontakt a lot and you're interested on learning more about it, please let me know in the comments down below, because honestly, right now I'm a little clueless on whether people use Kontakt or not. This is another thing that kind of scares me about Get Low, is that I don't know how many people actually use Kontakt in the dance music world, because for movie scoring and everything, everybody uses Kontakt, and Kontakt is the standard for that kind of market. I don't know how it works, I don't know how many people use it in dance music. So it is really important for me to know what you think about this sort of tutorial. If you want to learn more about Kontakt, if you use Kontakt, please let me know in the comments down below. And if you want more tutorial for Kontakt, I promise you'll have more tutorial for Kontakt, because I love this plugin. I know how hard it is to sort of figure things out, and I would be very, very happy to help you. So please let me know. If you enjoyed this tutorial, please put a thumbs up. And as always, from me, David Seven Skies, see you next time, and bye bye.